On the main stage.
I'm just feeling a little blue, JP. I don't know. I'm bummed out.
Oh, well, Sean, what can you do?
Hey, no problem. I love looking like a Smurf mid-cast, JP.
That's true, man. That's one of my favorite pastimes.
Undoubtedly. And now, again, it looks like our first map is going to be Shakura's Plateau. It will be that ZVZ. And we saw a nuts match between Killer and Sen.
Oh, man, that match was nonstop action, especially on Shakura's Plateau, where there was hatcheries that were low. We saw Muta play. We saw a ton of Roach come out of Sin, and Sin came up on top there. Sean, you ready to get this match started?
Well, it looks like the two players are pumped and ready to rock. Crowd ready for the last ZVZ of the night? Then let's go ahead and jump right into it. You know, Dimaga is one of the best Zerg vs. Zergers around, has an extremely aggressive Infestor-based play, but is he going to be able to get to that moment of gameplay?
And also on the other side, we got ToodMing, of course, kind of the unknown here, but he's doing very, very well in this tournament. And he's going against Dimaga, who probably has one of the better ZVZs in the world, for sure. I mean, he is actually one of the only few people to take out Nesty over at GSL.
ToodMing, again, one of the players from China for this event, one of the players coming out from Asia, one of the new faces. Will he actually be in good enough condition to take down the beast Dimaga? Well, he did manage to nearly take down MVP in their winner's bracket match. So let's hop into game number one and find out what will happen.
We've got both players spawning at the north part of the map on Shakura's Plateau. Of course, if you are a fan of the Chinese player ToodMing, he's going to be spawning up here. Give it a cheer, guys.
And in the top right corner, one of the crowd favorites coming all the way from the Ukraine, it is mTw.Dimaga.
Now, ZVZ, I mean, we talked about it last matchup, and it's probably been talked about all day long, Sean. It's just one of those matchups where anything can happen, and you can lose in just a split second. And I feel like Dimaga is one of the better ZVZs because he's always aware of what's going on anywhere, at any point in the game on the map.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those matchups where I always describe it as the inverted pendulum. Whenever it swings a little bit in one person's favor, it's very easy for it to swing all the way for a nice victory. Now we have Dimaga. It looks like he did send out that very early drone scout. Actually, if you look at his vision, he sees exactly what's up. And oh my gosh, he's doing his Protoss impersonation. Let's see if he tries to like build a hatch to block the other guy's hatch.
And we see, it looks like he's going to get a hatchery of his own, but also denying, it does get down there from ToodMing.
Is that?
It might be off by...
Did he?
I think that's off by a hex, Sean.
He might be a little bit off. It's a wacky hatch. Let me go ahead and someone from the crowd, that was off, right? Thank you, crowd.
Crowd's very responsive tonight, Sean.
I know. They were like, yes, God. Looks like Dimaga is indeed going to be going for that spawning pool on 17. Really comfortable delaying it and having his gas way earlier than the opponents.
Now, ToodMing is, of course, the unknown player, Sean. Have you happened to catch any of his games? Because I think he was broadcasted earlier.
Yeah, and we do see it looks like taking a little bit of gas from his spawning pool right now. Going to get ready to get that Zergling speed, and I'm always curious if they're going to be opening Roach or Baneling at that point in time. Always the two common transitions.
Yeah, we saw last game Sin favoring those Roaches, and we also saw his opponent favoring those Banelings, but I feel like the Roaches are just going to be a little bit safer if you can actually survive the first Baneling onslaught. Once you get those Roaches out, it's really, really easy to deal with the Banelings.
Yeah, Sen showed that twice in a row. Again, not just good for defense, but also for the big counter swing. And look at that, Dimaga getting just one queen and the insta-Zergling speed, but I don't think ToodMing is going to be very far behind at all, and there is getting that speed up right away, and Dimaga is actually the one delaying his second queen. Not the biggest deal because you literally cannot afford 2 queens worth of larva right at the start of the game.
Now, in our last series, we saw Killer actually drone up pretty hard in the early game, and it really came back to cost him the match because all Sin had to do was just move forward with his Roaches. So a lot of times we talk about the best time to drone for a Zerg. Well, that especially applies in the ZVZ matchup because larva is very, very precious in this matchup, and you can't over-drone or you'll just simply lose to the smallest of units.
It looks like both players are literally doing identical things. I mean, these two players are going to be getting the Baneling nest up, but they're not getting many Banelings. They're just getting the Zerglings up. So that means that they're going to go ahead, or excuse me, they're not getting that many Zerglings up, just going to be able to get the defensive Banelings. You see the Zergling speed now en route as well, and we see a spine crawler being constructed for ToodMing.
And of course, we see some Lings here running up for ToodMing into Dimaga's base, but it didn't really see all that much. We do have some Lings here in the middle of the map. Looks like Dimaga does have the bigger count, but he's about to meet, of course, the Queen, the Spine Crawler, and the rest of ToodMing's base.
And there are the Zerglings making their way up into the main here. A couple of defensive banelings anymore, but even if he kills maybe 2 or 3 drones, that's going to be a huge win, and Dimaga does manage to get one, but all the rest get trapped. And Dimaga now running his 2 red Zerglings anywhere he can. He's going to try to make an escape, going to try to make a run for it, but he's first. Oh, that is about the smartest thing that he could have done. He walked right through the mineral patch to get a count of his opponent's drones.
Now, we see 2 banelings for both of these players at their natural. That is, of course, to stop any run-bys. Dimaga actually adding on 2 more of his own. And we also see a very, very quick play. Here comes 3 Lings, and wow, great play there from Dimaga, not detonating those banelings onto those 3 Lings.
Yeah, Dimaga always setting himself up into a nice position, and oh, ToodMing going to be so happy to see no layer at all. Great play there by ToodMing, sneaking that in, because ToodMing is thinking, I can get my Spire up fast, I can get speed roaches, I have any number of options available at this point in time.
Now, we were both very, very excited when Killer did get his Spire up on that first set in that last match. Really, what do Mutalisk add to the ZVZ arsenal, or what can we expect to see really utilized with Mutalisk play?
Well, I mean, look at the vision spread right now. Both players have Overlords all over the map on both sides. Same for Dimaga. They have trails of Overlords spotting the count of all Zerglings, all Banelings, all Roaches coming in. When you get that Spire up, and look at this, it looks like that is exactly what ToodMing's doing. When he gets those Mutalisks up, he can easily pick off all the enemy Overlords, and suddenly Dimaga is playing very much so in the dark and always risks a Mutalisk counterattack.
Now, we saw Sin just simply respond to this by shoving all of his roaches down his opponent's throat, but, excuse me, we saw Dimaga do that. But, so the +1 attack is just started, and the lair is very, very close to being finished as well, but that Spire is about halfway complete.
Keep in mind, though, it's very, very easy to just build a couple of rounds of Zerglings, send them straight away, and overrun your opponent, or even a couple rounds of roaches. So now ToodMing going to start moving out with a couple Banelings of his own. He was originally using those for defense. And now he's going to try to engage the Zerglings. Oh, Dimaga has to be really, really careful.
Getting really, really close to being able to enter. One of the Lings does suicide.
Wow.
And he still has enough Banelings there that Dimaga's not going to be able to enter, but at the same time, ToodMing won't be able to leave his base.
Oh, ToodMing might have the key timing here. He's just in another round of injects. He's getting up another round of units, and when that larva pops off, he's going to be able to get a lot of mutas. And a third hatch in the main. ToodMing playing a very unorthodox style. He's going to be going Muta-Ling. There's 5 Mutalisks incoming right now. ToodMing starting to move out with his Zerglings, and Dimaga's hungry with this Baneling hit. Oh, and it whiffs!
See, here's the Ling engagement. ToodMing does not want to fight that, though. 5 Mutalisks very, very close to popping, but you see a Hydralisk in as well as 3 Spore Crawlers for Dimaga. He should be able to defend against those Mutalisks very, very easily.
He's got to be careful, though. Can never underestimate the amount that Muta-Ling can do if positioned properly. We see 3 Queens out of the natural expansion for Dimaga. Has a count of 4 Queens total. We see the range immediately being upgraded, and look at the drone count. 56 for Dimaga, a brilliant swell of workers for him.
He's producing 12 Hydralisks right now. That is going to be very, very easily to deal with these mutas, but are they going to hatch in time? Looks like the Hydralisks are coming out. And these mutas are very, very low in numbers. So, you know, he's got to be very careful not just simply lose these as he's flying into the natural. Oh, no, lose them. No, they actually get up with very low HP.
He's got to be careful because when that range upgrade finishes, I mean, the range on the Mutalisk is so short. It's only 3 JP. That's half that of the Hydralisks. The Mutalisk, literally, if they go in for one swipe, they can be eaten alive by this amount of Hydralisks. And I honestly think that Dimaga might just go for a big counter push right now. But look at this brilliant play, taking the farthest away spot on the map as an expansion.
I see him trying once more with all his mutas, but the Hydralisk are there on the creep. Now, when you push out like Dimaga's doing here, Sean, or thinking about it, if you're off creep in a ZVZ and you're pushing out with Hydralisk, how really susceptible to attack are you when you're off creep like that?
I mean, in terms of a direct engagement, I think Dimaga's going to be very happy to have a direct engagement at this point in time, but his big danger is if a counterattack happens, those Hydralisks cannot get home anywhere near in time. It looks like ToodMing responding, building a lot of emergency spine crawlers, building a 9th spine crawler right now. 15 Banelings are morphing right now. Banelings very good against Hydralisks, but it looks like Dimaga is going to be rallying all his roaches to the front lines. He might not even engage yet. But this many banelings can absolutely devastate that kind of light Hydralisk army.
Yeah, Dimaga's really going to want to have those roaches out in the front and keep the Hydralisk as far away and also spread them out so those banelings cannot connect and do tons and tons of damage. Looks like this third base was denied or at least canceled here from ToodMing by a couple of lings. And these Mutalisks really haven't done all that much damage. Dimaga does not want to engage into this natural just yet.
Yeah, it looks like ToodMing will try to maybe do a little bit of poking, but with these two queens, I mean, with that much energy, you can easily transfuse the Spore Crawler, the Mutalisk, and manage to find that third expansion. And what is Dimaga's answer going to be? He's selecting that group. It looks like he wants to make a poke, but oh.
He sees, wow, that is so many spine crawlers there, Sean. Look how many spine crawlers over at the natural.
This is kind of insane, almost to 16 spine crawlers. We do see that hatch will likely have to be canceled by Dimaga. It's getting low. Oh no, is he actually going to cancel it in time?
There
Whoa, close call from him.
Now, Dimaga might not want to engage that, but looks like he's actually going to go in, Sean. Here we go.
See the banelings, and there's Infestors there. They can fungal growth everything, and here they come, marching forward, and they do
and he connects.
a good amount of damage. And the spine crawler count is absolutely enormous, but Dimaga is continuing to press onward, and he gets nabbed by a fungal growth ToodMing with this very unusual style of ZVZ.
That is
still staying alive.
I've never seen that many spine crawlers in a ZVZ before, Sean. That is just absurd. He's already up to 1,600 minerals right now. You see him doing some harassment there in the middle, staying as far away from those Hydralisks as possible, trying to do some damage against the roaches. But ToodMing, really, I'm not sure if he's been missing larva injects or what, but we see 13 roaches in production right now. That's a lot of those minerals that he just used up.
I'm not so sure I like this transition to the roaches at this point in time. They don't really integrate well with that many spine crawlers, but look at what ToodMing's going to do. He's moving all his spine crawlers down south. He's going to drop creep and then take this set of expansions. We see the Mutalisk forced one cancel, and here they are engaging one of the queens, and there's a nice transfuse. It looks like he's going to have to get another if he wants to keep this queen alive, and all the Hydralisks arrive to be able to push it back. And we see the two queens from Dimaga now do a little self-transfusing. Oh, and he has a creep tumor. Oh my gosh,
wow.
Is that actually going to finish? That would be the sickest play of all time, but no, it manages to fall. And now Dimaga realizes his time is now. All these spine crawlers are caught off guard.
And what looks like something from the beta days of ZVZ, we just see tons and tons of roaches right now for both of these players. There, the Hydralisk behind a great fungal coming down, but if you look at the supply, it's 170 right now to 128 with Dimaga in the lead.
And it looks like Dimaga was not able to really engage on either side.
Oh, the sickest roach fungal ever.
Unbelievable fungal by ToodMing.
Oh, and once again with even more fungals there, just destroying this army of Dimaga. It looks like he's going to continue to chase and still use so many great fungals. They're hitting a ton of roaches and a ton of Hydralisks, but both players really not willing to commit fully here as Dimaga just has so much stuff for ToodMing to deal with.
And it looks like ToodMing is going to come out on top. An incredible play by the unknown Chinese player.
Now, he will be able to take his third pretty easily. He has great spine crawler defense there, splitting up all those spine crawlers at his third and also down the ramp from his natural. Meanwhile, Dimaga has taken his third base, also getting his fourth here, very, very close to being finished. And Dimaga's really getting kind of antsy moving forward with his forces, but he's got to be careful and not get fungaled as those Infestors are getting very, very close to having enough energy.
The upgrades for Dimaga are just stellar. 2 attack, 1 armor. Panda Team, a.k.a. ToodMing, has no upgrades to boot, only just now getting his first evolution chamber. With the 4th base coming up, I mean, JP, we're seeing the very unlikely ultra long-term ZVZ matchup. And it looks like Dimaga right now has the lead in terms of map control, but there's really no way to crack this defense from ToodMing.
Now, this is something you really don't see too much at this level of play right now. ToodMing is very close to breaking 2,000 minerals. They're using up a lot of minerals, creating 17 drones. That'll put him right around a total of 70 drones himself. So